Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show where we discuss and do technical analysis on big mega cap stocks. So, before we get started, please smash that like button, and 100 plus likes on this video would be greatly appreciated, guys. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, if you want to support the channel and get my daily trade ideas, my swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of setups, definitely check out their link down below in the description for Patreon. And now let's get right into it, guys. Welcome back, everybody. So, a lot of you guys are wondering what the heck happened last week, especially Friday, why there was a massive gap up and go. Well, that is called Trump pump. He's coming back into the office next week, and that's why we got that mega pump. So, I don't know if that's going to continue or we might get sell the news later, after he takes office. Now, with that being said, there was also no mega cap, updates video this week because I was sick, a little bit under weather, and now I'm doing absolutely fine. And there was actually a video I was trying to put out, I think Wednesday or Thursday night. And guess what? I made the video, I did the editing. Unfortunately, I did not check sound, and there was no sound on that video because I did an update on my computer, and it just cut off the speaker. So I had to go back and do that, but was unable to actually put out a video because I'm not gonna waste 4 hours and then there is no sound, and then you go back and waste another 4 hours. And we all know that, especially my channel, I'm not doing this for YouTube money, and there is like barely any money on these videos. So not for these 30-40 cents from each videos. I'm not doing that, and not gonna go back and make another video. It was really bad. I was sick, and on top of that, the video had no sound, so I felt really bad. Didn't put out any videos for you guys. But yeah, definitely we'll be continuing next week. And even with this one, with Tesla up 3% on Friday, massive rally up to 400 and almost 40. Now luckily took some calls on the dip right here at 411 on Thursday, and then the rally on Friday sold out right here at near 430. Tesla took profit, and this was really nice setup, but not too many contracts, so it's not something really big, but still, it pays. It pays, right? And we got a rejection here at 429, even though Tesla ran up to almost 440. And now there will be support at 417.52, 20-day moving average. Below that, we have 411, 406, 13-day moving average, and then flat for 100. Only below that, look for more downside. Also, if you look at this right here, this bull flag pattern, we're breaking out, we retest it, and now if this thing can get over 429, there is a good chance going into a Tuesday. Monday market will be closed for Martin Luther King Day. But if this thing gaps up over 429 and stays over that, going into next week, you're going to see this gap getting filled. 451, at least that is the next stop here on Tesla. On AMD, it's up 2.55%. So AMD now trying to get this breakout here over this 20-day moving average, which is pretty much sitting near 122. So 122 needs to break on AMD. If that happens this week, we might see a rally all the way up to this gap right here, just under 127. That's going to be the upside target in the short term if that happens next week. Now, if this thing cannot break and remains under 122, then the keys are put down here at 118, 114, and then 110 on AMD. We also have earnings coming up early as next month on AMD. On Meta, it's up 0.24%. So Meta got up to 625-ish almost on Friday, came back. And now if you look at my screen, we again got that rejection. It did not actually hold right here at 615-ish right here. There's support, and now it's holding right here just over these moving averages right here. So 609 to 604. 5, 13, and 20-day moving average. These are going to be critical levels to hold right here for Meta. If this thing gets under 604, also takes out 600 and then 50-day moving average, 695.83. In that case, you're going to see a dump off down to 581, lower Bollinger Band, and then possibly down to even 558. But this week and going into next week, we do have earnings coming out from Meta, guys. So that's going to be something to watch. It's going to be a market moving event. So far, every earnings they beat since that bottom at $88, right? Meta just beating earnings, and now we'll have to see how much more upside we have here. You can see Bollinger Bands are squeezing the stock, lower one sitting at 581, upper one sitting at 627. So it's getting that Bollinger Band squeeze, and whenever we get that, I mean, we've been doing this for maybe a month or two here. You can see back and forth. We're just going up, down, hitting lower band, going up, hitting upper band, coming back, just trading inside this range. If this range actually breaks, you're going to see a big explosive move. In that case, I mean, I don't want to say it now, but it can go up to 700. Also, keep that in mind. Just because this thing looks bullish and it's just trading near all-time highs does not mean that we cannot have a breakdown and bad, really bad earnings. On top of that, maybe some downgrades from analysts, and anything can bring this stock again back down here within $500 range. So these are two scenarios can play out with earnings. We all know that Meta actually always they have that big move on Meta with earnings, and I'm sure that it's gonna have its big move on this earnings right here on the 29th. So keep an eye out for this. Now to the upside, resistance will be at 614, 615. Over that, it can go up to this upper Bollinger Band, 627, 630, and then 638. Downside support right here, 604. Critical level, 600, 595.83, and then 581. Lower Bollinger Band on Meta. On Microsoft, it's up 1%. We also have earnings coming out on the 29th. So the same day as Meta earnings coming out. It's going to be a big, eventful month. End of this month, guys. We got Trump going back into the office. We got FOMC. There will be no rate cuts as of right now. And then we have these big names releasing earnings. And that's going to be just fuel to the fire for this market. I mean, of course it can play to the downside too, but these earnings can make the market or can break this market in half. And I don't know which way things are gonna go, but we gotta be really tactical and careful going into next 2 weeks. That a lot of people nowadays, they got some money, will just go all in. You always want to protect your main capital. Let's say you made you got 8 grand, and you made maybe another grand with your own money. Now that's your side money that you have extra from this market. You can play $200, maybe 100. You can gamble with that, but never go and gamble with your own money out of your pocket, especially with all these events, earnings, and then we have FOMC. On top of that, Trump coming back next week. So lots of things happening this month, and it's gonna be a jam-packed month, especially end of this month. Now, here you can see we broke down, and I think the last video I made was right here, guys. Right here about 4 days ago. It was last week. I think it was on Monday. And now, from this breakdown, we did not actually get that breakdown. We had a look below and fell. We're back in the range again. And looks like early as Tuesday morning, we might be filling this gap just under 437. So gap full reversal to the downside can happen here because upper Bollinger Band coming down, sitting at 443, and that's also a resistance right here. So if this thing can get over this gap will play will play as a resistance here on top, just under 437. Over that, it can go up to 443. Now 437 cannot hold or cannot fill this gap. Watch out for a dump off back down to these moving averages right here, 428, and below that down to 420. And then we can talk about possibly coming back down to 413. On Amazon stock, it's up 2.39%. So Amazon also up on Friday, and you can see there is this Bollinger Band squeeze on Amazon as well, and we also have earnings coming out from Amazon very soon. So going into next week, as long as Amazon is over 222, 223, it's bullish. It can definitely make a move back up to 230, and over that 233 and even higher. Now under 222.79, we might see a flush all the way back down to 216, and that can happen with a gap down if that happens. And below that, we still have unfinished business down here, two gaps, 214, which can act as a support, and then the next gap at 208 on Amazon. On Google stock, it's up 1.62%, and Google, another stock, getting that Bollinger Band squeeze. So, lots of things are squeezing inside the Bollinger Band, and you can see it right here. Upper Bollinger Band sitting at 200, and the lower one sitting at 188. So there is like a $10 range, $10, $11, and we're just ping ponging back and forth. You can see right on my screen, up, down, up, right? So next week, going into Tuesday, it gets over 200, in that case, we might see a bigger move on Google stock. Now, we also gapped up here on Thursday, never came back to close this gap, 193. There will be strong support right here near 194, white line 20-day moving average to 193. Gap fill reversal. Only if that can hold, we might see a move from here back up to 200 again. Now, if this thing gives up this gap fill reversal as a support, we might see it drop down to 190, 188.45, and from there it can come down to 184, or now in this case 185, because 50-day moving average, this red line, moved up. So there will be support right here. You can see rejection, previous rejection, also now 50 days sitting here. So 184 to 185 will be a key line in the sand if that happens next week, but I don't see that happening that quick. We also have earnings coming out next month right here on Google. On Netflix is up 1.87%, so the 21st of this month, next week, and this is the early one, we do have earnings from Netflix, and that's going to be a big event because this thing can also move in a big way, 50, 60, $100 depending on earnings to the upside, or who knows, maybe even to the downside. We do have this gap down here at 704. Now, going into Tuesday's session, 842, you can see we bounced, huge bounce off of that support. We got a doji type candle on Friday. We did not get over this 13-day moving average right here, which is at 865. If we can clear that going into Tuesday, we might see this gap getting filled 873 on Netflix. If this thing cannot clear 865, then watch out for a drop back down to 842, 820, and below that flat 800. On Apple stock, it's up 0.75%. And Apple, we also have earnings coming out end of this month. Now, this is actually on Thursday. I was actually trying to make a video for you guys and put it out so you guys can get a better glimpse of the market. And this is why I actually wanted to make that video. You can see this massive, massive bearish engulfing candle. Some news came out, and it's again AI news from China, and this is why this thing dropped. Now, yes, earnings can help. This thing can go right back up to all-time highs, but it's not down that much. If you look at it, from 260 down to 230, so only $30 gone. But what's concerning here on Apple stock, that look at this candle. And this thing was going down on Thursday, and the market was up pretty much all day up until end of the day. And you can see even on Friday, we got some names, and we just went through all the names, the big names. They were actually up in a big way, where this thing was up just barely, not even 1%. And we did not even go like halfway of this bearish engulfing candle from Thursday. So going into next week, Apple can get over 230, then watch out. There will be resistance at 233, and over that, we can come back up to 237. Apple cannot get over 230. The next support, strong support, will be lower Bollinger Band down here at 226 and then 220. On Nvidia stock, it's up 3%, so big bounce off of this key support 130, and now it's over 136. So your key line in the sand for Tuesday's session will be 136, below that 130, 126. As long as Nvidia can stay over 136, it can actually make a move up to 140, and then possibly up to even 144.56, and then we can talk about previous all-time highs again on Nvidia stock. Now, at some point, we get some sort of a big sell off, maybe sell the news when Trump goes back into the office. It can happen, right? If we get that next week and we get a gap down and this thing takes out 130, and watch out, these things are going to be really critical on Nvidia to hold this key support 126 and then 118. And that's all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts, especially for next week, what's going to happen in the comment section, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated Tuesday night on big mega cap stocks.